When you think of New York, you probably think of places like this, busy intersections bustling with human activity. But New York also has a wilder side. The city's 8 million residents live alongside more than 600 different species of animals. In this series, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the Big Apple's wilder residents. This is Wild New York.
My name is Katie, and I'm an amateur naturalist and animal lover.
I'm a sculptor.
Join me and my friend Ben as we journey around New York and learn a little bit more about the wildlife that shares our home.
When most people think of squirrels, they usually think of little fluffy-tailed critters leaping from tree to tree. But not all members of the Squirrel family live up in the canopy. True to their name, ground squirrels live and breed in underground burrows, but there's a lot more to them than meets the eye. This unique group of critters lead very secretive and fascinating lives, including New York City's largest rodents, and we're going to learn more about them today. The largest rodent in New York City isn't Pizza Rat. It's Marmota monax, more commonly known as the groundhog. These chunky critters have a variety of nicknames, including woodchuck, land beaver, and whistle pig. Although they're most famous for the holiday that shares their name, groundhogs live a very fascinating and secretive life very few know about.
The Squirrel family covers many types of rodents, including tree squirrels, chipmunks, flying squirrels, and marmots. The groundhog is the largest species of the squirrel family, and the largest rodent living in New York City. Groundhogs live in burrows that are so complex, each has its own bathroom chamber. And they can eat approximately a third of their weight in vegetation each day. Groundhogs can eat up to a pound of veggies in one sitting.
Groundhogs are diurnal mammals that are most active from spring to fall. When the cold weather arrives, they hibernate, and they emerge with pretty astounding consistency in February, which is how the tradition of Groundhog Day was born.
Groundhogs are true hibernators, entering a deep sleep in October and emerging in early spring. During hibernation, a groundhog's body temperature drops from 99 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and its heartbeat slows from 80 beats per minute down to 5. During this time, groundhogs survive on the fat reserves they accumulate from their hefty summer diet. Groundhogs are mostly solitary animals, only seeking out other groundhogs to mate. However, as a species, they work to protect each other. For example, they communicate with one another using high-pitched shrills to warn each other of approaching threats. Their burrowing does more than keep them safe. Groundhogs have contributed to the discovery of an archaeological site by unearthing bones, tools, and pottery at the Uferman site near Delaware, Ohio.
The smaller of New York's ground squirrels is the Tamia striatus, or eastern chipmunk. These adorable little rodents are easily identifiable by their brown, yellow, or gray fur and prominent black and white stripe down their backs. They're often seen darting across footpaths of New York's parks. But where are they going, and where are they coming from? These answers might surprise you.
The smallest member of the Squirrel family that lives in New York, the eastern chipmunk, is as adorable as it is tiny. On average, they're between 2 and 6 inches in length, with a tail as long as 3 inches, and their weight, less than a pound. Despite their diminutive stature, they have a lifespan on par with the other New York City mammals we've met thus far. Their average lifespan in the wild is between 2 and 3 years. The chipmunk is almost a uniquely North American mammal, with only one species living elsewhere, the Siberian chipmunk.
Like their cousins, the groundhog, chipmunks hibernate. Though they cannot store fat at nearly the same rate as groundhogs, chipmunks will pack their dens as well as their cheeks with food for the scarcer months.
Chipmunks are omnivorous during warmer months, but as the year gets colder, they start to hoard nuts and seeds in their underground burrows. One tiny chipmunk can gather up to 165 acorns in a single day. They use special pouches in their cheeks to transport the food back to their dens. These pouches can expand to up to 3 times the size of the chipmunk's head. With their cheeks packed to the brim, chipmunks race back to their burrows. They dig 2 types of burrows: shallow, narrow holes to hide from predators while foraging, and deeper, more complex dens where they store food, mate, and huddle up for the winter. The tunnels of these complex burrows have found to be as long as 10 or even 20 feet, reaching depths of up to 3 feet underground. Now that we know a thing or two about ground squirrels, let's see if we can find some in the wild.
I got a very stoic woodchuck over here at Fort Tryon Park. I think we may have spooked him, but
You're probably wondering, hey, why is Katie wearing different clothes? And how come I can't hear her? Well, this little guy caught us off guard while filming a different episode, and Katie didn't even have a chance to get her mic on. Always keep your eyes open and your camera ready when exploring New York. An exciting encounter could be just around the next corner. Woodchucks have a dual-layer coat. The silver layer forms the undercoat, which they keep year-round. As the weather cools, their brown outer coat will begin to grow and fill in.
Now that we've met the ground squirrels of New York City, it's time to ask the most important question. How do they fit into our ecosystem? Though groundhogs and chipmunks are adorable, they can cause real lasting structural damage to parks and homes.
Groundhog burrowing can pose a serious threat to agricultural and residential developments, which is why it's important to identify groundhog damage early on. These resourceful creatures can build new homes fairly quickly, but turning out a hog den in the midst of winter can have deadly consequences. Be sure to watch out for signs of new burrows in early summer and fall, like fresh mounds of soil or fresh chew marks on wood and shrubs near buildings. Neither chipmunks nor woodchucks have much of a taste for apartment living, but make sure to report any damage you come across to your local parks department.
Always make sure to keep a safe distance while observing, never feed wildlife, and make sure you properly dispose of your trash. If you follow these steps, we can bring New York closer into harmony with nature and make sure that Gotham City stays a wild New York.